This is Andy Salkeld, the City Council Cycling Coordinator, and we're here at the Building Cycling Cultures Conference. How's it going, Andy?
It's gone brilliantly, yeah. Really
Enjoyed it?
Really enjoying it, and it's really busy, which is great. Lots of good ideas.
Yeah, and last night as well, we were expecting about 12 people pre-conference for a little session we were going to run, and we had about 40 adults, was it?
It's terrible. Popularity, it's too much.
Yeah, playing for success.
Really
That's
good.
the great.
And they stayed talking all night, which is great.
What's the turnout been like today?
Fantastic. We reckon there's about 110, 120 people have come down and got involved today.
Yeah. And also, it's people from all across the world, isn't it?
Yeah, as well as the kind of invited guests from New York. We've had delegates from France, Australia, Barcelona, Canada, Libya.
Yeah.
Someone from Libya, apparently.
There you go.
Yeah, people have come far and wide, which is phenomenal.
Just shows it works. Now, one of the interesting things about when you hold these kind of conferences as well, you've got all the keynote speakers like John Orcott and Karen Overton from New York, who are just over my right-hand shoulder now, are actually running conferences and stuff like that, and little workshops. Is you get to come across these little things here. Now, I've just done a short interview with Dave, and he's been showing us about these Bromptons and just how useful they are. And apparently, you, Dave, and these 10 Bromptons were in the back of a taxi. Is that right? The other day, I'm sure there's a story in there somewhere. But there we go.
Have you seen the size of him?
Yeah. I'm sure he was walking behind. Now, this one's actually all liveried up for South West Trains, and Dave was saying that they're trying to have the same sort of conversation with East Midlands trains and stuff like that, and using space at Leicester train station. That'd fit quite well with your plans as well, wouldn't it? With sort of the Ride Leicester concept and all the pedestrianised and cycling combination we've got in them, and the refurbished bike park as well. Yeah.
I mean, the city's interested in looking seriously at bike hire facilities, and train company based ones could be one of the options that we look at in serious detail. There's great options of plans for development at Leicester train station. The train companies themselves recognise that there's going to be a several-fold kind of increase in demand for cycling, and they want to accommodate that because they want to get more people travelling to places like London and Birmingham, Nottingham a lot faster. And if they arrive by bike, they can do that much faster than they can currently do by car. So things like getting the Brompton fleets, that are hire fleets based at Leicester train station, could be a solution that we could take seriously forward. They're great bikes. They're very robust. They're well renowned for their durability and for their kind of facility, the utility that they provide.
I was saying to Dave in the interview I've just done with him as well, is about that you almost know a Brompton even if you don't know it's called a Brompton, because you see the amount of people with folding bikes and stuff like that. Even people that come and eat their lunch or do some networking and events I've organised here at the Phoenix.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've long been the kind of the mark of kind of cycle activists who you see around places, but in the last 4 or 5 years they've become very mainstreamed. They're a successful British company, brilliantly engineered and superbly designed to fit into the holding carriage of a standard British train, and they solve that kind of home to destination journey problem, seamless journey kind of process. That's what they're designed to do. That's what they do. They do it very effectively, and they've become mainstream. They've moved away from the bike geeks to the mainstream because they're spectacularly useful.
Do you think you've managed to bring together mainstream cyclists and those geeks and activists and critical mass supporters and politicians and transport planners quite well in this conference? Because certainly in the Q&A last night, you got the feeling from the room there was kind of representatives of all of those, and we all have to work together to build these cycling cultures that we'd like to see.
Yeah. I mean, the whole conversation is around the idea of mainstreaming cycling and the trends which are upwards in terms of interest in cycling. And in our own city, we've had a 130% increase in cycling in the last 5-6 years. And in other cities, there's similar trends in a positive direction, but there's very much an interest in kind of mainstreaming, and the question is, how do we best get there? Do we do that with the existing kind of niche bike cultures, or do we create an amorphous kind of like new bike culture? What do we do to take things seriously and moving forward? The great thing about the conference is people are coming at it from all different angles, but they've got an aspiration to move it forward with following that trend and exacerbating that kind of trend. So, and that's what seems to be working.
Brilliant. Okay, just bring Dave in here.
Yeah,
Sure
I
he's got a
think
point.
there's an interesting one. You mentioned the East Midlands trains. One of the reasons that Stagecoach really backed this project is that one of their commuter stations at Surbiton, they have actually been able to create 25% of the car park spaces available for use at 9:30 in the morning, which is almost unheard of at a London commuter station, simply because so many of the passengers are converted to using bikes to get to the train. And that has saved them the cost and the difficulty of building a bigger car park. Now, I'm not sure how Leicester fills up, but I'm sure on a commuter day, that car park at Leicester Station is full.
It does get quite busy.
Now, if you can actually convert some of your commuters into cyclists, they won't use the car parking spaces, there'll be more car parking spaces, you'll have people who can come in for family groups to use the off-peak trains, and so you get a much better mix of people at the station. So there's a lot of gain, and even companies. I mean, land in the centre of Leicester is at a premium, spaces at a premium, and if you need to expand your office block or your company or your factory site, if you can say, well, we don't need that car park because we've converted so many people to cycling.
It's a bit like you were saying about the Daily Telegraph earlier, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, okay, Andy, Dave, thanks very much. And as a reward for people that have watched this one as well, Dave's going to fold down the bike that he built for us earlier.
Well,
there we go,
we'll
see?
try to
There you go, see? Leicester, the home of the comedy festival, will never go.
Right.
The record for assembling one is 9 seconds. I feel guilty for making Dave work on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Wicked. Excellent. Dave, thank you very much.